Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. But as I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world,
it is being widely reported that Jake Paul is in the final stages of negotiating a heavyweight bout with Anthony Joshua, set for next month in Miami, and expected to stream globally on Netflix. The matchup would mark a major step up for Paul, who has previously faced mostly non-traditional or lower-level opposition, while Joshua is a former two-time unified heavyweight world champion who last competed in September 2024. Eddie Hearn confirmed that his team has been actively exploring the idea. While the matchup was originally considered for a later date, the cancellation of the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight may accelerate plans, potentially bringing the bout forward sooner than expected. Hearn emphasized that talks remain exploratory and no official agreement has been finalized. Still, he acknowledged that the opening for a high-profile Paul-Joshua clash may arrive earlier due to the scheduling changes. He also reiterated that Joshua's team is primarily focused on reclaiming the world heavyweight title or securing a showdown with Tyson Fury. While the Paul fight could happen, Hearn stressed that it is not the top priority. Joshua's main goal remains rebuilding his path back to the championship, not staging a spectacle.
With myself and Nikisa, I think Jake and AJ have spoke as well. You know, from our point of view, if we're going to have a run-out fight, why not run out against Jake Paul, you know, for a lot of money? So there's ongoing conversations there. I can't tell you it's close. I can't tell you we've seen a contract. But if he genuinely wants to fight Anthony Joshua, I don't see why we wouldn't have a chance to do that fight. But, you know, our focus is on really a charge for the World Heavyweight Championship and a charge at Tyson Fury. We can't control that either. So, like I said, that's why I said to you, absolutely at the moment.
Hearn further expanded on his concerns about a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, warning that the pair will be far more serious than just entertainment. He argued that the matchup is dangerously mismatched, highlighting the enormous difference in size, experience, and punching power between the two. According to Hearn, the risk involved isn't hypothetical, it's very real. He suggested that such a fight could severely damage Paul's career or even end it. Because of this, he believes the bout requires extreme caution, regardless of how commercially appealing it might be.
Well, AJ, ever so quickly, I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed-up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents that they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on.
Mike Coppinger of the Ring recently raised serious concerns about the proposed Paul-Joshua fight, suggesting that Paul is pursuing it largely for the massive payday rather than competitive legitimacy. Coppinger reported that the deal is in advanced talks, but still depends on major broadcast and sanctioning decisions. He noted that Joshua represents a dramatic leap in size, power, and experience for Paul, and the mismatch raises genuine safety risks. While the fight might move forward due to its commercial value, Coppinger emphasized that the potential damage to Paul's credibility and personal well-being should not be overlooked. It also remains unclear whether the bout will be recognized as a professional fight or an exhibition. No sanctioning details have been released, leaving open questions about the rules. whether it will count on official records, and how the fight will be regulated.
Breaking story on Ring Magazine. Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalising a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami. Sources tell the Ring Magazine's Mike Coppinger. What do you make of that?
Well, Anthony Joshua is talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it, and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way.
I don't like it either.
No, I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking? Nah, definitely not.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be licensed because it's a really dangerous fight.
Do we know if it's an exhibition or a real fight?
We don't know yet, but I don't think they should be allowing Anthony Joshua in a ring with Jake Paul. It's dangerous for him.
It can't be a real fight, because if it's a real fight, Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul's head clean off. So it can't be a real fight.
Well, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah,
I don't want to see a man decapitated in Miami
yeah,
in a ring in December.
Listen, and that's what will happen. So
many seasoned boxing professionals have condemned the idea entirely. Veteran heavyweight Derek Chisora strongly criticized the notion of Jake Paul receiving a WBC ranking, calling it disrespectful to the sport.
He have said they're going to give a cruiserweight ranking to the winner of this fight. Do you think they deserve one?
No, I don't think so. I don't know why. It's hard enough for real athletes, for real boxers, to gain those rankings, and then suddenly this Solomon Tuesday decides to give double ranking because he's getting some greens in his, in his back pocket. No,
Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. offers surprising perspective on the potential matchup. While he acknowledged that the fight could happen if Joshua genuinely wanted it, he stressed that it must make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Calling Joshua a legitimate former world champion, Jones stated firmly, "Did you see what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou? The same thing happens to Jake Paul. If you think someone who isn't a full-time boxer will beat Anthony Joshua, then you're crazy."
I want to change subjects just a little bit here, and Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is 1-0 against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's a perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he'd probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than he will fighting anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do it? I mean, not that he needs the money right now anyway, but if he's going to do something, if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene, that's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Will Jake Paul become a world champion?
No.
Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if you catch somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson and Lee caught at the end of their career, the chances are much higher. Because now it becomes more of a 50-50. You got a guy who's better than him, but the age factor. You understand me? And that's the only way to balance it for him to make it a 50-50 fight. Somebody who's on his level at the same age, those guys have too much experience. You understand me? So he's not going to beat those guys. But you find a guy who is past his prime, who has the mentality further than his, but past the prime, it kind of evens the stakes.